So we're here in Fluvanna County, Virginia. I decided to take the kids, the family out here just to get a better understanding of where we came from, where our roots come from, because we know very little, unfortunately, because of documentation. So we're gonna attempt to find my great-great-grandpa Hill Porter and Fanny Porter's gravesite and see if we find any other Porters out here. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Thanks for checking it out. Well, here we go, off on our journey. After months of delay and meaning to get here, we're finally in Fluvanna. Fluvanna County is actually to the west of Richmond, I believe. It's about an hour and a bit past Richmond. For those of you who've been here, I'm pretty sure you'll have some fond memories of the area and this country drive. One thing I've noticed that coming into Fluvanna, the town has not changed much. It appears to look exactly like it would have looked all those years ago. So it's just awesome to be here in such a small place with these humble beginnings. So we're starting to make our way up to the church, which you can see on the right, and we'll come back to it, but there's a small high school on the left. Here we are at the Dunbar school where many of the Porters in our family attended school in their younger days. We got here, we're attempting to try and get in, but it's locked. We were able to reach out to a family member, Carmen and Roger Smith, who was so gracious enough to grant us access. So in a few minutes, you'll get to see inside of the schoolhouse and get an idea of what it looked like all those years ago. Right now it's kind of a National Historic Site, and anyone's welcome to go inside. After a little bit of delay, we actually got to go inside. It's a mixed-use space these days. The museum is actually in the back room, but in the front they use it as a summer camp for kids, and it's also some sort of community center and a hall rental place these days. But many of the fixtures and things are still the original infrastructure. You can see now we're about to go and take this step back into time. This is actually inside the classroom. Many of the students who attended here, on the desk in the back, there's actually a register of all the students who went here years ago. Many of our Porter family members are in here. Right there is a corn shucking machine. They have a lot of cool artifacts. The corn shucking machine actually still works. The kids got a chance to play with that, so it's just kind of a cool piece of history, just to let you know where our family came from. There's a lot of cool tools and artifacts throughout. You can see irons of old lamps sitting on a stove. It was definitely fun to talk with the kids and kind of do a trivia thing to see what they knew. Up on the wall, there's a whole bunch of men and women who served out of the county, and they just recognize them up on the wall. There are a few of our family members up here on the wall that you may or may not recognize. Again, some more artifacts and just really a really cool space. It's kind of mixed with the old and the new. They have some stuff, some period pieces of when our family was there, all the way up to modern times. And you can see there the cool doll and things like that. Tons and tons of books from years ago of what kids would have read and learned back then. Definitely must see. Thanks again to Carmen Smith and Cousin Roger for the upkeep on this place. I can only imagine what it must have taken to keep this place in line. So definitely thanks to you. Again, just a very, very cool place to see. And if you ever get a chance to get down there, you definitely have to go by here and check out a piece of our history. And there's a great Uncle Walter who attended the school. And right here, what you'll see is the first African American high school in the county. I do believe some of our ancestors actually attended this one-room school. You can't go inside. It looks like it's under some sort of renovation. The school was actually only active for a couple of years, but it was the first African American high school in Fluvanna County, which is pretty cool. So after here, we're going to make our way over to the church. This is the church that many of our family members attended while they were living in the area. You can see here, it certainly is a little bigger than what it probably was back then. There's probably been some renovations. Unfortunately, it was a Sunday, and we got there kind of late, so we weren't able to go inside. So here we are at the cemetery, which is located behind the church. A lot of our ancestors are buried here. Since we made this video, we also realized that pretty much everyone in the cemetery is more than likely a relative. You can see here, great-great-grandpa Hill Porter buried here. Definitely humbling just to see where it all began, at least in the county. Over here you can see great-great-grandma Fanny Porter, who is buried right alongside of him, right under this nice little bush. Definitely a very, very cool thing to see at the cemetery. So more to follow on family members in the coming research. Here you can see here, this is Bremo Plantation. Again, as we did some more research, we actually realized that we didn't actually work on the plantation, but we worked the land around it. And so here we are headed up to Grandpa Hill's farmhouse. We actually own land in the county, so we had to go down this little dirt road. You can see there's a modern house on the left, and we're just making our way up to the family property. It was exciting to see this because I had heard so much about this property that we owned in Fluvanna, and yes, we still do own it. We pay the taxes on it. I say we, but there are family members who are paying the taxes on it. So all these years, almost 100 some odd years later, we still own this piece of land down in the county. So here we are, we're about to pull up to Grandpa Hill's land. I can just think now, before the time of cars, maybe they walked this to go to school, or they were on horse and buggy or something like that to get to this land. For my father and many others who've been to this farm, it definitely looks different these days. From what I was told, that this was all cleared land at some point, but now you can see it's overgrown. The landmark is this very, very large tree. I don't know if anyone remembers that tree when they visited, but that's the landmark to get here. So all this land we walk down, this is actually our land, this is our property. And you can see in the underbrush the remains of Grandpa Hill's farmhouse. Again, this was all cleared land, so you could picture, the cows and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and step in and just get a closer look. You can see there, the foundation is still there. You can see the chimney is still there. You can't really see it from here, but off to the right, the water well is still there with water in it, but it's covered over at this point. So we didn't go over there just because it was a little dangerous. But yeah, so there's the chimney there, and you can see me and my son, we're just getting a closer look at the property itself. And you can see that the dugout of the house is still very much there. There's a lot of debris around the property. I didn't even think about it, but I probably should have grabbed a stone or something just for memorabilia. But next time I'm there, we'll definitely revisit. So you can see here, Cousin Stanley actually showing us and giving us a little history lesson of what happened at the farm. So definitely a awesome thing to see, and I encourage everyone just to make this journey. Once again, it was well worth it, and I just want to thank the family for taking time to watch this video, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And this was our little tour of Fluvanna.